One Wednesday morning in 1966, more than 200 students watched something land behind their school. Within hours, witnesses say, men in suits arrived, and the children were told it never happened. A teacher photographed it. The film, witnesses say, was taken away. When every photograph disappears, a drawing is the only record left. So I drew what 200 people saw. New page, new case. The file is open. April the 6th, 1966. Clayton South, a quiet suburb of Melbourne, Australia. At Westall High School, the morning drags. Chalk dust. Late in the morning, the bell rings and hundreds of children pour out into the yard. For one more minute, the most ordinary place on earth. Then someone points. Above the power lines, a shape. Grey, silver, a low dome, bigger than a family car. It sinks, behind the pine trees, into a paddock the locals call the Grange. The schoolyard breaks. Kids swarm the fence, run for the trees. Before the fastest get there, it rises, tilts, and is gone. Witnesses remember a girl collapsing, an ambulance on the school grounds, and 5 small planes circling the object. Remember those planes. What happened next is why this file exists. Witnesses say men in uniform sealed off the Grange within hours, and in the grass, the older kids saw it. A circle, flattened, scorched. Follow that circle. It keeps coming back. The science teacher says he was threatened with prosecution. The school was called into assembly, and the message, witnesses remember, was simple. You saw nothing. Stop talking. Students who spoke to a television crew recall detention, and the local paper ran the story on its front page 2 weeks in a row. The school said nothing. Stop here. Look at the drawing. A quiet paddock, a ring of scorched grass, 200 children at the fence. What do you see? Days later, the farmer burned the field. The only physical evidence went up in smoke. The years pass. The children scatter. Then, a researcher named Shane Ryan starts knocking on doors and finds more than 100 of them still telling the same story. Then he asks the obvious question: where is the file? The archives answer: no record, no report, not one page. Not from the police, not from the Air Force. Australia's biggest mass sighting officially produced nothing. The official record says nothing happened at Westall. The witnesses drew it differently. The same paddock, the same pines, but above the trees, that silver shape, and in the grass, that circle. 60 years on, their drawings still agree. The record still shows an empty sky. So weigh it honestly. Days later, one student remembers, strangers sat her down and explained that she had seen a weather balloon. And there is a serious balloon theory. Hebal, a secret program whose giant silver balloons sniffed the air for radiation after Britain's nuclear tests. Flight 292 was scheduled from Mildura the day before. A runaway balloon, parachute, and heavy payload sinking onto a paddock. Strange enough to draw a crowd, secret enough to hush one. Plausible, maybe likely, but the theory has holes. The launch records for that April are missing too. No pilot ever reported chasing anything that day. The 5 planes exist only in memory, and nobody confiscates film of a weather balloon. This year, on the 60th anniversary, one of the last surviving balloon men spoke. John Sutcliffe, nearly 100% certain, he says, no Hebal balloon was involved at Westall. The one explanation on the table, and its own crew pushes it away. And yes, 60 years can bend a memory. But bent memories do not delete paperwork. Something happened at Westall, even the skeptics say so. Every trail that could tell us what ends in a missing page. Today, on the Grange, there is a children's playground, a memorial, a silver flying saucer with bright red slides. The witnesses are past 70 now, and they still meet there. They are not asking anyone to believe in visitors. They are asking for a piece of paper, an answer before the last of them is gone. So my last page is the file that should exist, a folder with a name on the cover. I drew it half, and I left it empty. The ink stops where the paperwork stops. More than 200 people watched it land. The record says nothing ever did. Some files stay open because someone wants them closed. Next time, I open a different one. Liverpool, 1931. A phone call sends a man to an address that does not exist, and while he searches, someone kills his wife. If cases like this keep you turning pages, subscribe and leave a like. It tells me to keep drawing. Tell me in the comments which mystery I should open next. This file stays open.